one more race to go, and it was top 7 reversed for round 6. So that means, as we load up the next replay, Dan, that at the front of the field is Lewis Williams.
It is, yes. He's looked fairly competitive as Lewis, so it's this could be a race that he could potentially find himself very much winning if he can keep it clean. But yeah, it's again, you got likes of Hawk and Manners in 6th, Lightbody in 7th now, so I expect those two to be sort of at the front, but likes of Hicks and McDermott are 9th and 10th. Sumner 12th, Povey 14th, so it's a lot of good sort of fast drivers in that mid pack who could easily make their way up to the front, given half a chance.
Absolutely right. We have lost one driver who it escapes my attention who that is, but I'm pretty sure we had 26 in the first race, and we're now down to 25. And I feel bad for there's a lot of really nice liveries at the back of the field, but the action at the front has been so close and so strong that we've just had to keep the camera pointed at it. So as much as the B&M livery, the Badger guitar livery, and the seal, amongst all the others back there, deserve as much airtime as we can get them. When the action at the front is that good, we kind of got to stick the camera there, haven't we? So I'm ready to press play on this when you are, Dan.
Yeah, so chat's just is confirmed. I've just noticed it was Bradley who said that they're not starting. Chat's just confirmed what I was just about to say, but yeah, I'm ready to go when you are.
Let's do it then. 3, 2, 1, play. So I guess we can. I could actually go and read over the Discord. I would assume that would probably be a bit of frustration after how round 5 went. Could have been that she wasn't able to make the last race anyway, but it was one of those things that, it's all about where you are at the finish, right? You can be having the strongest race ever, but if you're not able to convert that, then that's where sort of frustration can seep in, I suppose. What do we think? Lewis Williams at the front, as we say, showed some great pace in race 1 and then was kind of just stuck in the midfield a bit more in race 2, but could we see a lights to flag victory here, or are we expecting Manning, Lightbody, and maybe even McDermott, who starts in P10 in this one, to come through again?
Like I said, Williams has got a good chance of potentially getting a race win under his belt. He has looked competitive. He looked competitive at Brands Hatch. Had a Titanic scrap. He kind of we're pointing the camera at him for most of the first round, I think. At Brands Hatch, but yeah, definitely would say he's got the pace to be on the podium, if not the race win. But it just depends on how the likes of Man and Lightbody, Hicks, McDermott, are able to come through on the field. But yeah, I'm expecting another very good race between a lot of them.
Well, here we go. And it's Williams to lead them away. We'll go with the helicam once again. Garley's obviously still up there, having converted that pole position last time into a strong result, which must have been 5th in the end to have started. Oh no, 4th would be bang in the middle. It would have just flipped around Garley. Anyway, we come up to the line, and it's Williams and Actonese at the front. We are green at Silverstone for round 6. And Harkema has got a great start and is already on the inside of Actonese at turn 1. That's a very strong start from Harkema, who moves up into 2nd position. It's quite clean in the midfield. McDermott is the car that you can see wide there. And towards the back, there's a few cars scrapping, but it's all pretty clean stuff. We go up towards the front. Williams leads from Harkema, and that's Hopsty going wide.
Yeah, he's just got a little bit of a tank slapper going into the first part of Magnus and Beckett's. He's managed to get it back on behind Lightbody, so he's not lost much. But yeah, they come down the hanger straight for the first time.
Yeah, so it's Garley ahead of Lightbody there, and Manning is all the way up into 4th position. And already looking at Booth. They're 3 and 4 wide in the background. Manning going to the inside of Booth here. Lightbody sending one to the inside of Garley. And then in the background, it's the fight with McDermott and Carpenter, and that's Povey with a huge shove on the Ice One racing car. How about that? Get out the way. And Povey through. That was very much on the excess of rude, you might say, that one.
Yeah, it's very much the race 3 that we saw last week, as we got a spin off in the back.
That's Dog.
Yeah, Dogs went off, as well as one of the Sabia cars.
Dog and Soros, I think, is
Soros,
off.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a shame for those two, but they both of them be able to carry on. But yeah, look back at the front. We've got Hawk is catching right at the back of Williams here. So we'll see if he's able to get past or not.
So Manning did get past Booth, but that is into 4th position. I got the positions wrong earlier on. So Manning 4th, Booth in 5th position. And then I think it's Lightbody now ahead of Garley into 6th. Just trying to catch. There it is. There's the yellow car. Right up behind Booth as you come down towards Brooklands. Both of the top 2 in the championship. They mean business here in round 3. McDermott and Hicks side by side. And McDermott coming out on top there. Lightbody got through as well on Booth.
Yeah, I think even though it's fairly early days, I think if Lightbody sees Joe going for a move and gets past, I think he's going to be wanting to try and hang on the back of him and not let him get away too much, because otherwise he's going to be dropping points. But yeah, so obviously Povey gave it a bit of a shunt in the back of Carpenter going into Stowe. Obviously I suspect that's going to be going to the steward's room, but Carpenter has been able to carry on, so not too much lost other than a bit of a rear bumper. It's
a short race, but in a perverse way, it's a long race as well. There's a long way to go. As we've seen, a lot can happen in 20 minutes here in the Touring Car Championships. And look at Conor McDermott, who can sense a fairly strong result here, all over the back of Jasper Hofstee.
Yeah, he's done well, like I said, 25th to 10th in race 2. So let's see if he can work his way up even further. But he's definitely got the pace on Hofstee as he goes down the inside, and Hofstee runs a little wide, so that's going to give McDermott a good overlap coming out of Stowe. Hofstee might fight this one going into the Vale and Club, but we'll soon find out as they come into the braking zone.
Yeah, Hofstee's on the inside in the Gamma Groningen car, but leaves the space, and McDermott sweeps around the outside into Vale.
Yeah, it was a good clean pass, and Hicks behind is clambering all over the curbs, so as he's trying to get past Povey. So good move from McDermott. So he's now to P8, and now I'll see if we can close it down on Garley and get past him.
Look at Manning down the inside of Actonese, already up into the top 3. So far, the class of the field is Joe Manning, and he's back into the podium places again. He's got a bit of time to catch up to the top 2. In the background, there's a few cars wide there. That's McDermott and Garley. Here they come down towards Brooklands. There's Hofstee thinking about having a look, but McDermott's on the charge here as well.
There's a big old gaggle of cars behind McDermott as Garley is defending from Hofstee now, and Hicks is having a look up the inside of Hofstee, but Povey's also on the inside of Hicks, so they're kind of briefly running 3 wide through Luffield, which doesn't always happen. But Povey's got the inside for Copse Corner, and is he going to make the move count? He's certainly braking late, but Hicks is going to go for the switchback.
He's through, yeah. Hicks might be able to get the switchback on him down towards Maggots and Beckett. To be brave to go side by side through there, but just up the road, Hofstee and Garley are going to do exactly that.
Yep. And Povey's just managed to get in. Hicks was trying to go in side by side, but I think Povey carries so much speed into the Maggots and Beckett as well that there's no way for Hicks to get past. But Povey's actually had such a good run that he could have a good run on Hofstee. But looking up ahead, McDermott is actually been able to clear booth down Hanger Straight. So McDermott is up into P6.
Suggest that had to be a mistake from Booth to have been cleared before we even got to the corner. Running wide here is Sumner, and that is allowing Nordemir, who's back in play in race 3 of the day. But look at this as we come down at a Vale. 2 by 2.
It's a little late from Sumner. They've managed to get away with it, but they're going to go door to door again. It's just up ahead. We've got Povey and Povey and Garley side by side with each other.
Where do I point the camera, Dan? Look at the state of this as we come down the Hamilton Straight.
Yeah, so in the Abbey goes Garley and Povey, and Povey's managed to get out on top, and Hicks is going to try and get past Garley as well as they go side by side going down into the hairpin. Yeah,
Garley is beginning to struggle a bit now. There's a lot of cars coming through and just not able to get into a rhythm as he did in race 1. Nordemir trying to go around the outside, but still really fighting Sumner, and now finding that Garley's in the way of that fight.
Yeah, so looking up ahead, Acton is right on the back of Joe Manning going down Wellington Straight. I don't think there's going to be a move on going into Brooklands and Luffield, but yeah, Acton is right on the back of back bumper of the championship leader.
Oh, there's contact. That was Booth running into the back of Hofsty. Thankfully, nothing worse than a little love tap, and Povey getting involved now. Povey having a much stronger race. Round the outside of Booth.
Yeah, who needs to fix the cars after race 3 when it's the last race today, yeah?
So it's now Hofsty, Povey, Booth, and then Hicks, Garley, Sumner, and actually at the back there, that's Karpinen is now ahead of Nordemir, so not sure what happened to Nordemir there. Up towards the front, Williams is actually dropping Harkema now, and Harkema falling back towards the Manning, Actonese, and light body fight, but Conor McDermott not to be counted out here either.
No, definitely not. McDermott set the best lap on that last time round of it, 2:19.1. So definitely with a bit of free air now, he's going to see if he can try and catch up to that light body and go. As behind McDermott, Hofsty is now very much, I would say, cork in a bottle, but you could say that they're all sort of corks in their own bottles because we're in the same bottle because they're all fighting each other.
Well, I like that analogy. We're all corks in our own bottle, which is the same bottle. Let's go with that. Yep. It's a great fight. And Booth looking to the outside. Booth going very much to the outside. That's too wide.
I assume that was a bit late on the brakes rather than a genuine move around the outside.
Yeah, that's not going to work, that one.
A day late and $1 short on that one. But
and round!
That's
Garley's been spun around by Sumner. And that'll allow Reichelt to come through. Reichelt's having a stronger race here in the Seal car. And Von Shaven's come through as well. So, unfortunately for Garley, dropping all the way back down with that incident with Sumner there.
Yeah, looking up front, Hawk and Joe and Actonese are... So Hawkman and Actonese are all nose to tail here coming down the Wellington Straight. Slightly behind them, we've got Hofsty and Povey are nose to tail. So yeah, we're not short of action again.
We are certainly not. We're back from the widest BMW that we've seen all day, and Actonese is going to throw this down the inside of Manning, who's trying to go around the outside of Harkema here. And Actonese has got a decent run on Manning. As it all plays out from Luffield, they're nose to tail once again.
Yeah, I think Joe was trying to do like a bit more of a V-shape of Luffield, try a good exit out as you see him sort of catch up the back into Cops, but that meant he left the door open slightly for Actonese. But yeah, it looks like Joe's definitely got the pace on Hawk here. But as we've seen, Hawk is got at least a couple of car lengths. His BMW is at least sort of 2 car lengths wide. So I'd expect this to be a titanic scrap for the rest of the race.
Indeed. Harkema still second now. 3.6. Williams has dropped everyone at the front, and that could be enough. Even Joe Manning might struggle to catch up that gap to Williams at the front of the race. But we've got to clear Harkema first, and that's been one of the most difficult things to do all day.
Well, Joe's going to have a look at it in store, is he? No, he's just sort of showing his nose, but that might mean that Hawk's got a good line through there. So yeah, but looking at the lap times, so Williams last lap was a 2:18.6 as opposed to Hawk with a 2:20.4. So 1.6 seconds difference between first and second. So that's why Williams has just been able to stretch that gap out in such a short space of time because of the battling going on between Hawk and Manning and co.
So it's all changed in the midfield now. Nordemir's 8th, Booth 9th, Sumner 10th, then Karpinen, Reichelt and Von Shaven. Hofsty's down to 14, so I think Hofsty must have been off the road somewhere. to have lost a few positions here. And then Garley is in 15th position, Soros in the background in 16th, and Hicks is down to 18th and off the road again. So what's happened to Elliot Hicks? Well,
yeah.
Out of the race.
Yeah, so looking, Povey's got himself a good gap, but yeah, interesting that you said no. What's happened to Hicks there? I'll see if I can try and run it back as you're keeping it live and see what happened between them.
Well, Joe Manning is all over the back of Harkema, but there is no way past his BMW M2 for Neon Falcon Racing. This is first versus third. First chasing down third in the championship for second place on the track. And Lightbody's not made a lot of impression on Actonese, who's having a strong race in the Beamaroo. But 3.2 seconds now. So they are catching up to Williams a bit. Williams had a bit of a poor lap that time around. We're on lap 6.
Yeah, so looking at the replay here, it looks like Povey and Hofsey had a bit of a come together coming out of Luffield at the end of lap 4, and Hicks was just basically unlucky in the fact that Hofsey came back onto the track and it sent Hicks hit Hofsey and sent him into the inside barrier into towards the pit lane, and that's how he lost so much time.
Booth around the outside at Chapel. What a move from the American, but Karppinen's not going to give that one up in a hurry, and now we've got Reichelt and Von Shaven in this fight as well. So 4 cars fighting over 11th, 10th position even, and Booth coming out on top there. But Karppinen sends it to the inside. He's really sent it to the inside, and they're going to hang this out on the outside of the circuit, leaving each other enough space there. And look at this, Von Shaven's gone off the circuit. Von Shaven's off. So he's made a mistake in Stowe, and there's heavy damage to that Team MMMC car. And then Booth is round. Oh, well, we're going to have to go and have another look at this. Let's pull that back as we come into Vale. Booth's on the inside. Karppinen is going to be on the outside. And yeah, Karppinen runs into the back of him. Booth goes all the way around, and then Karppinen spins the car on his own, trying to recover back to the circuit. Very clumsy one, that, between the pair. But it means that Seal, Lars Reichelt, is the big winner from that one, moving up into what is now, I think, will be 10th position. Manning has cleared Harkema. So Joe Manning is up in the 2nd position now.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I wonder whether Joe's done his usual trick of getting such a good run through Abbey and setting himself up into a loop. But he does go a little bit deep going into Brooklands and into Luffield, so Hawk might have a little bit of a sniff back at Joe, but it looks like it's a move that's done and dusted.
Yeah, just behind these, Actonese and Lightbody, you can see, are side by side. I think the Turkish driver is still ahead as they come into Copse this time around. McDermott's now not really making much in the way of progress against these two. Harkema pretty slow through Copse there. He was crawling across the inside curbs, and that's going to hand the momentum to the 2 cars just behind him.
So yeah, now the big story is
oh, there's Lightbody to the inside at Chapel. He's trying to throw a surprise on Actonese, and they're going to have a drag race down the Hanger Straight.
So good racing. So yeah, so Lightbody's he slipped back into in behind Actonese here, but he could have potentially get a bit of slipstream and see if he can dive one up the inside into Stowe. But it'll be a brave move and late on the brakes if he does so.
So the last thing that Lightbody would want to see is Manning getting past Harkema. The last thing Harkema would want to see is that as well. Possibly also the last thing that Lewis Williams up the front would want to see. But it's a 4.5 second lead for the British driver.
That's what I was just about to say. Is it's now can Williams hold on to he's got 3 laps or 2.5 laps to go, I suspect, because we're now on lap 7. Whether Lewis can hold on with that 4.5 second lead. He's just got to drive to what he sees out in front of him and not driving his mirrors. and be checking that gap, because the more you check in your mirrors and more you look at the gaps on the hood or on the steering wheel, the more time you're going to generally lose. So you just got to keep concentrating out in front and not have not be thinking that it's Joe behind him, and just run his own race still.
We're on lap 7. There's a few cars starting to look a little lightweight on the old fuel. The bottom right of the screen. Conor McDermott is now right up in this fight. A little bit of scrapping between everybody has allowed the Scotsman to catch back up to his compatriot in light body, and these two are going to go wheel to wheel once again.
Yeah, McDermott's done well. He's up at P6 at the moment, but we obviously saw these two earlier on have a massive shunt together down the start finish straight, so just passing it now. But yeah, they've managed to find each other again. We'll see if it's clean this time round.
I think what's really working well about this reverse grid format is that the real top drivers are continuing to come through, but we're able to see a race where Garley has a strong outing and is able to fight with those guys, and then in this one Actonese is there and Williams is away at the front, and it's just allowing different people to have a chance to fight up at the front. Even though these faster guys are still coming through, they're having to work for it.
Indeed they are. So Williams only lost 0.4 of a second on that last lap, so definitely has the pace at the moment to keep in front for the race win. But Joe did set his best lap in that last lap with a 2:18.8. So there's still time for him to catch, but he's going to have to be catching a lot quicker than he is at the moment. Hawks went very deep behind Joe into Vale and Club. So Hawks going to be under pressure from Actonese now coming out of Club onto the Hamilton Straight. But Lightbody and McDermott is as close behind them as well.
There's a place on the podium available. Hawk holds on to it at the moment, but Actonese wants it, Lightbody wants it, hell, even Conor McDermott wants it. And with about a lap and a third to go in this final race of the day at Silverstone, it's all going to kick off, and there's McDermott to the inside. He's absolutely centred on Lightbody. Lightbody not happy with that one.
That was a bit of a surprise move. Where did that one come from? But for McDermott, that was a hell of a pass. But it was certainly a surprise from everyone. Did not see that one coming, but he's managed to make it stick and managed to keep it clean as well. So nice move from McDermott there as he gets up to the P5.
Opportunist might be the word on that one.
Absolutely.
So Hakim are still the widest BMW in Silverstone, hanging on to that podium place as we start the final lap here in Silverstone.
Yeah, so the gap's down to 3.6, so there's another 0.4 gained.
Hark is very wide, very, very wide into Copse. But Actonese is more under pressure from McDermott than the other way around.
Yeah, so Williams lost half a second to Joe, but should be fairly comfortable here on his final lap. Doesn't need to do anything daft. But yeah, it's the fight for P3, P4, P5 at the moment, which is the one they got to be looking at. It looks like Lightbody's been dropped from these three in front.
Yeah, possibly just going to bank the points for P6 in this one. Maybe hope that there'll be an incident amongst these in front, because McDermott's got the bit between his teeth here. Doesn't send it into Stowe. But he's got a decent run by the looks of things. Hark's gone wide, and this is going to Concertina up as we come into Vale.
He's going to have to defend this one. Actonese might go around the outside, but he's just held his line. But yeah, Hark is definitely looking a little bit ropey at the moment in terms of getting it. But McDermott's got the overlap. Yeah,
he just got a little bit out of shape, Actonese there, and he doesn't really know whether to look forwards or backwards. He's got people attacking him from all sorts of angles. Takes quite a lot of curb through Abbey. And will we see a similar move from McDermott? He's defending the inside Actonese quite heavily.
Yeah, this is going to set McDermott up into a loop here. I'll be surprised if we didn't see another move from him.
It's the same move. And Actonese is going to turn in, and there's contact, and McDermott's going to spin slightly. It's a half spin. And now Lightbody is there. And that fight's going to continue all the way down the Wellington Straight.
Certainly is. Yeah, I think we saw that one coming. Acton seemed to try and turn in on McDermott a little bit, but as it come down to Brooklands, and McDermott looks like he's going to retain P5, although Lightbody's going to go right around the outside. But out the front, we've got Williams who's just about to cross the line.
I've got to cut away from it because Lewis Williams, the headline is Lewis wins in Silverstone. We've heard it a few times before. Williams wins, but back to the fight. I think Lightbody's come out in front against McDermott. We can go back and have a look at that one. So Manning second. Harkema gets the final podium place in third. And then Actonese a very strong fourth. Lightbody fifth in the end. And McDermott in sixth position. Povey is across the line in seventh, and the replays run a bit short. Nordemir eighth, Sumner ninth, and then Garley got up to 10th. I'm going to ask you, Dan, for a driver of the day, or driver of the yesterday, as it were.
Of the yesterday. Well, I mean, you can sort of argue that Joe has had another solid 3 races, and will have extended his lead over Lightbody in the stands. So you can argue he's had he could be driver of the weekend. But Hawk put a stout defence in. Yes, he sort of had a bit of a couple of sort of love taps with other drivers at certain points of the race, and had his own. He's got his rear bumper tagged a few times, but yeah, Hawk done well to kind of keep as many drivers behind as possible. So yeah, I mean, I would probably have to say just it would be Joe, because he's been so consistent, but there's a lot of good quality driving. I think Chad Bradley deserved a good shout out for race 2 before the unfortunate incident that she had through Stowe and through Club. So yeah, it's kind of hard one. Yeah, it's a hard one to kind of give, because I think everyone's had their own highs and lows during the 3 races.
I think as much as anything, from from our kind of bias in the sense that we'd like some action-packed stuff, it's been great. It's been really, really good to watch. The fact that the cars are a lot sort of slower than when we commentate on F1 races isn't really a problem, because these guys are able to run them nose to tail all the way through the field. And it's it's just really great stuff to watch.
Yeah, it's what we hope for. It's what we got in Brands Hatch, and it's what we got again here today. It's yesterday at Silverstone. So yeah, the championship is definitely living up to the sort of to the hype that I think it was getting when it got announced, and the bumper field of 26 drivers for across the 3 races, I think shows how strong and how up for it as a lot of people are. So hopefully the numbers stay keep up throughout the championship. But I think the format as well, the 3 sort of short races, it's not one of them like it's like an hour long race, and if you have a mistake in the first sort of 5 minutes, that your kind of day might be done. But you've got 2 more races to try and make up for it. So yeah.
Speaking of the championship, with 6 rounds gone, so we're a third of the way through the season now. It looks like this, and it makes very nice reading for Joe Manning, doesn't it? It's obviously these are provisional. It may have maybe a few things changed, or I might have slightly miscalculated a few things, but it's roughly this. And Manning leads by 27 points from, could we go as far already to say, the 2 championship rivals of Lightbody and Harkema? Is everyone else a little bit too far back already?
You could say so, yes, but it's all it would take is one DNF from Joe to bring that gap right back down, or a poor result from the 3 of them to kind of bring everything back together. But yeah, you probably look at the certainly the top 2 at the moment, or probably the stronger drivers to be potentially fighting for Championship. I think Harker is whilst he might not have had the outright pace over the other two in front of him, I would say he's been consistent and he fights very hard for for the position that he's holding. So so he deserves to be up there in P3. But yeah, I mean, like Sapovi, McDermott, Hicks, you got a lot of drivers who could be winning races and being sort of on the podium. So it's not all done and dusted by any means. Like I said, it's only a third of the way through, so anything could happen. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out in the next coming races.
Indeed. Well, there will be a week's break next week because the Miami Grand Prix will be on in at a similar time to when this race would have been run. So there's no race next week. The next event is on the 15th of May, so 2 weeks' time minus 1 day. And that will be from Zandvoort in the Netherlands. And that should be a very, very spicy affair. Zandvoort, good fun.
Yes, it's similar to Brands Hatch, I would say. Quite tight and narrow, but if you're going to make any overtakes, it's going to have to be quite precise.
Indeed. Well, I think we're going to wrap that up there. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody. And I know it was something of a repeat, and you already kind of knew the results, but we didn't, and we really, really enjoyed that. So thank you very much to Dan for co-commentating today. Hope you enjoyed yourself.
As always, it's just making me more and more tempted to actually join the grid.
It seems to be picking up in popularity. Does TCC, which is going in the right direction. I'm sure Cruz will be delighted with that. It's good fun from our side, and yeah, as I say, we're going to wrap it up there for this week. We will be back with more Touring Car Championship action in a fortnight's time from Zandvoort. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weeks, and I will catch you very soon.